It's a 4 line, but there is lot more to say about this. And that's why it is known as the sutra or the Paribhasha Sutra, to be more precise. Now, also, would like to give an example that how, when there is a piece of cotton, you just take out, there's a big piece of cotton, a handful maybe of cotton, you can pluck, a cotton, and then from that cotton, again, you can pluck another piece of cotton, and from that, you can pluck another piece of cotton. So various, and from the same cotton ball, you can pluck multiple pieces of cotton, and then you can make a big mountain out of it, So that is how, because each word in this sutra has multiple meanings. Multiple meanings can be plucked out from each and every word of this sutra. So now we will go and see that in this definition, word to word, what does it mean? So the first 2 lines, the last 2 lines, that is Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. These last 2 lines are known as Swarup Lakshana, or also known as the primary characteristics to define bhakti, to define devotion, what devotion is, right? These are the last 2 lines. And the first 2 lines, that is Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karma, the Anavritam, these 2 lines are the Tatastha Lakshan, that is the marginal characteristic, right? So the last 2 lines are the primary characteristics, also known as Swarup Lakshana, which defines devotion, which defines bhakti. But to make this bhakti into a pure bhakti, the first 2 lines, which are known as Tatastha Lakshana, that is the marginal characteristic, has to be added. If the first 2 lines are not added, then the last 2 lines are just the definition of bhakti. Now, to make this bhakti into a pure bhakti, the first 2 lines have to be added. But they are known as tatastha or secondary or the marginal characteristic, because if there are only first 2 lines and last 2 lines are absent, then it makes no sense. Right? Hope I'm clear. So the last 2 lines is just the definition of bhakti. But to make that bhakti into a pure bhakti, the first 2 lines Avarupa Goswami have added to it. Right? But itself, the first 2 lines, without the last 2 lines, holds no importance. So that is what, he mentioned. Now we'll come forward and see that what does it mean. So first of all, we'll see the last 2 lines, right? And especially the last line, it says Bhakti Uttama, right? So Uttama means perfect or the highest, right? And Bhakti, of course, means devotional service. But what is this devotional service? So we'll see this line, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. So we'll make 3 points. First is Anukulyena, then we'll see Krishna, and then we'll see Anushilanam. Because these 3 words is what defines as Bhakti Uttama. Right? Now, first we'll see the word Anukulyena. Now, this word Anukulyena, we'll divide it into 2 parts, like Sandhi Vichhed, right? Anukulyena. Sorry, the last word, that is Anushilanam, right? Remember, we made 3 points, Anukulyena, Krishna, and then Anushilanam. So first, we'll see the word Anushilanam, and we'll do the Sandhi Vichhed of this Anushilanam word. And what is this bifurcation of this word comes out to be Anu and then Shilanam. So Anu, there are 4 definitions or the 4 meanings that, Avarupa Goswami and of course Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I'll be referring both of their commentaries, and of course the commentary that's been written by our beloved dear Srila Prabhupada in Nectar of Devotion. So that is the source of all 3. So the meaning that Anu has, the first meaning is following, right? Means like we know we say Gopi Bhattaro Padana Das Anudas Anudas Das Das Anudas. Anu there means following, Rupa Nuga. Anuga means following Srila Rupa Goswami. We are all Rupa Nugas, right? So the first meaning of Anu is following. The next meaning of Anu is to do something repeatedly, right? The third is to do it constantly. That is Anusmara, remembering Krishna constantly. And the fourth one is to do with love through our thought, words, and deeds. So these are the four meanings of Anu. Now we'll see the meanings of Sheelanam. So the root word is Sheel. Sheela, it means, first meaning is to serve. Next meaning is to practice. And the third meaning is come to be worship, to worship. And the fourth is to think or to meditate. That's the meaning of Sheelanam. So we have four meanings of Anu. We have four meanings of Sheelanam. Now we do a permutation and combination of all these four meanings. We come out to be the 16 definitions. Like I'll take the first one, the meaning of Anu as following, and then taking it to Ashilanam. So he's following someone to serve, following someone to practice, following someone to worship, or following someone to think or meditate. Then if I take the word constantly, that we have Anu means also means to do something constantly. Then constantly to serve, constantly to practice, constantly to worship, and constantly to think or meditate. You know, this way we come out various definitions with all permutation and combination of these two words. That is Anushilanam. Right. Now, point comes that, okay,
I think she got dropped off. Let's wait for a few minutes. Yeah, I think she's back. Yes,
Hare
ma'am.
Krishna.
Yes, perfect. Yes, ma'am.
So where I left, I don't know when I got stopped.
Anushilanam, right?
You just were saying constant, you constant, and then we're talking about service and worship.
Okay. So yes, we have various permutation and combination. Thank you so much. So we have various permutation and combination through which we can make a definition of this word Anushilana. Now, for example, we make a definition that okay, constantly worship or constantly meditate, right? Then the question comes that who? Who is the deity whom we have to worship? Is it Brahma? Is it Narada? Is it Ganesha? Is it Shiva? Whom we have to constantly meditate on, whom we have to worship constantly. So our Rupa Goswami Bhat here mentions that he is being very precise in giving this definition. So he is using the word Krishna, right? So it's not that he is simply saying Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavitam Anukulyena something and then Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. No, he is mentioning the word Krishna. So that means that if all these things are not for Krishna, then it is not bhakti. So it is not, people say that I'm Ganesh Bhakta or I'm a Shiva Bhakta or I'm a Sai Baba Bhakta, but our Rupa Goswami Pad says that that is not bhakti. Bhakti refers only and only when the service is done for Krishna. This word Krishna, it's been specifically being used by our Rupa Goswami. So that's why, we have to be very clear. If it is not for Krishna, then any service, it may yield some pious results, but it is not on the platform of pure bhakti because it is not for Krishna. This word Krishna is being mentioned. Now we'll see, we have always been chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, So what is the meaning of this word Krishna? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he describes the meaning of Krishna. So this word also he bifurcates into two parts. First is Krish and the next is Ram. That is Krishna, the two syllables, Krish and Na. The first meaning of Krish, he says, means existence. Right? And the next meaning of Krish is Karshati, means attraction. Right? Sarvam Akarshati iti Krishna. He is the one who attracts anyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone. And of course, everything. That is what Krishna is. So the two meanings, existence and attraction. The syllable Ra or Na, it means uprooting. Na means nivritti, means removal. Right? Nivritti, remove. Anartha, nivritti. Remove all the anarthas. That is what nivritti is. Right? Removal or uproot. Right? And the next Na word means ananda or happiness. So these are the two meanings. Now again we'll see if we again do the permutation and combination of these two words. The first point comes out that Krishna, the word Krishna means he uproots our material existence. Right? So that is the first meaning that comes when we chant the word of Krishna. When we chant the word Krishna, it means that he uproots our material existence. The next definition comes that Krishna exists in total happiness. Anandamayo Bhayaka. That means Krishna exists in total happiness. Right? And like also we know Nandike Anandamayo Jaitanaya Laliki. When we say that, what does it mean? Nanda. Nanda means he is always in bliss. Nandike Anandamayo. After when Krishna came, then the person who is already blissful, there are more bliss that has arrived to him. That's what the meaning of Nandike Ananda. That's what. And that is what that means, that Krishna exists in total happiness. Now the third meaning that comes out, that the word Krishna, the recitation of the word Krishna gives us faith that uproots our material attraction. Gopis, they in the 10th canto, there's a beautiful verse, and the translation, I'm just, paraphrasing, I'm not saying it actual. There the Gopis basically are praying to Krishna that let your lotus feet appear in our heart, so that, when your lotus feet appear in our heart or the heart of householders, then all the attraction of material existence is finished. So they are saying that Krishna, basically your lotus feet are the only rope by which these householders, those who have fallen into the well of this material existence, can climb up and be free from material misery or material attraction. So that is why when we chant the word Krishna, it gives us so much strength that it uproots our material attraction. And the fourth meaning is that when we get attracted to Krishna, then Krishna fills us with supreme happiness. Yayatma to prasiddhiti. So this is the four meaning of Krishna that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in his commentary. So now we have reached to a point where we have come up to we have explained the three meanings, that is Krishna, Anu Anushīlanam. Now, when we have described this word, so till now, we come up to a definition, Krishna Anushīlanam, that is constantly thinking of Krishna. Just one definition I'm getting. So, till now, we have, come to the definition of constantly thinking of Krishna. That is what devotion is. But it is not true. Why? Because if constantly thinking of Krishna is devotion, then Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. Constantly he was thinking of Krishna. Eating, sleeping, drinking, thinking, always, in all his activities, he was always thinking of Krishna. Right? Shishupal, though in envy, but he was always thinking of Krishna. Right? So, do we consider them as pure devotees? Or do we consider them as Radhatmika Bhakta? So that we can follow their footsteps? No. So that means there is something that is lacking. Right? Because only constantly thinking of Krishna is not on the level of pure devotion. Because Kamsa, Shishupal, they all were constantly thinking of Krishna, and they are not the ones whom we look forward to. Now, another point that comes up, that constantly thinking of only Krishna is the devotion, then what to talk about our Guru Vargas? Then what to talk about Tulsi Devi? Then what to talk about Vrindavan? What to talk about Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita for that matter? If we are worshipping them, if we are constantly thinking of our spiritual master, if we are constantly thinking of Srimad Bhagavatam, is it not pure devotion? So here, Rupa Goswami says that Krishna, since he lives in the heart of his devotees, so worshipping anything that is related to Krishna is on the platform of pure devotional service. Because Krishna often says that if you want to serve me, then serve my devotees. So if we are serving or thinking or meditating on Guru, on Vrindavan, on Srimad Bhagavatam, on holy names, on Tulsi Devi, they all are categorized in the definition of pure bhakti. And so, but still, the constantly thinking of Krishna is not the only definition, because as we gave the example of Kamsa and Shishupal. So now we see the word Anukulyena. Now this word Anukulyena, Anukul means something favorable. So any service which is done, which is favorable to Krishna or pleasing to Krishna, that is pure devotion. Right? So now we have the pure definition, that is Anukulyena Krishna Anushīlanam. That means always think of Krishna, always meditate on Krishna, so that it gives pleasure to Krishna or Krishna is pleased. Right? So this is the pure definition of pure bhakti. But Rupa Goswami says, still it is not complete. Why? Because always thinking of Krishna so that Krishna is pleased, if that is the definition, then Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are also pure devotees, because they both were always thinking of Krishna and they fought with Krishna, when they fought with Krishna, Krishna was pleased with them. It was their Veera Rasa, because they gave Veera Rasa to Varahadev and to Narsinghadev. Varahadev and Narsinghadev enjoyed, Srimad Bhagavatam says that basically Varahadev and Narsinghadev, they enjoyed fighting with Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So if definition of bhakti is to always think of Krishna in such a way so that Krishna is pleased, then in that matter, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are also devotees. And if they are devotees, then what to talk about Mother Yashoda? Then that means she is not a devotee. Why? Because though she was thinking of Krishna, but the way, we know the Damodar pastime. At that time, she left Krishna. She was breastfeeding him, and then she immediately left Krishna, which was not pleasing to Krishna. So she did some act which was not pleasing to Krishna. That means Mother Yashoda is not a devotee. But that is not the case. So here, you know, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he mentions that it's anukulyena doesn't mean something to please Krishna. Anukulyena, it means the desire to please Krishna. This word desire holds a lot of importance in this definition. So it's any activity which is pleasing to Krishna can always not be on the level of pure devotional service. Right. So the word desire has to be mentioned. So it's only when we have the desire to constantly do some acts, sorry, when we constantly think of Krishna and with the desire to please him, that is what Rupa Goswami says is on pure bhakti. Because when Mother Yashoda, she left Krishna, she left to save that Padmagandha milk, which was boiling. Right? She wants to save that milk. Why? Because she wants to make the sweets out of that milk, which are butter out of that milk, so that because she has that desire to please her Lala, her Krishna. And that's why, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he always mentions that I bow down to Mother Yashoda. Because of her, when she left Krishna, when she left Krishna there, because of which we could see the pastime of Damodar Lila. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur always says that I bow down to Mother Yashoda. So, till now, we came up to this definition that we have to constantly think of Krishna, of course in devotion, and then what is that? But whenever we think of Krishna, whenever we worship Krishna or any activity which is related to Krishna or his devotees, there must be a desire to please Krishna. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu both gave pleasure to Krishna, but they don't have that desire. Inside, they have all that ill effect, all, ill intention, because they were not happy with Krishna. So, or Varahadeva or Nashingadeva. So they were fighting, though they gave a Veera Ratha, pleasing to Krishna, but still they intentionally, they don't have any desire to please Krishna. That is why we don't refer Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu as the pure devotees or as the Ragatmika Bhakta. So the definition that Avarupa Goswami says till now, okay, this only the last two lines. He says, engaging our mind, words, and body in positive, favorable way, keeping away the negative ways, and acting sincerely with the desire to please and serve Krishna. This is what devotional service is. Okay? So now we move on to our first two lines, which is Tatastha Lakshana. So though Rupa Goswami gave a wonderful definition, but still, that's the glory of Rupa Goswami that he mentions that still there is something lacking in this definition. So he wants to expand it more further. And then he refers to the first two lines, which are known as Tatakshana Lakshana, to make this devotional service into a pure devotional service. So right now the definition that he gave is on the level of devotional service. To make this devotional service into pure devotional service, now we'll be referring to the first two lines, which are known as Tatakshana Lakshana, or the marginal characteristics of devotional service. So, so we have seen that one word may have different meanings. And that's what Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya Prati Shloke Prati Akshrinana Arthahaya. For one shloka or one even akshara may have nana artha, may have multiple meanings. And that can be only revealed if we follow the footsteps or instructions of our Acharya. And that can only be revealed. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. No? Anyway, without wasting any more, going on to the sidetrack, let's come on to our next point of explaining what are these Tasasya Lakshana. So we'll say Anya Abhilashita Shunya. We'll see the first line. Shunya means zero. Anya means any other. Abhilasha means zero. Right. So Krishna doesn't like any competition. No other desire. He says, when you surrender unto me, you should have no other desire. All other desires that you possess should be zero. Means there should be no other desire. Mamekam sharanam. You have to only surrender unto me. If you say, Krishna, I love you, then he says, you should say, Krishna, I love only you. That's what Krishna wants. He doesn't want any other desire to come in. And that's why he says, Anya Abhilashita Shunya. That's what Rupa Goswami says, that there should be no other desire. All the other desires should be on the platform of zero. So, because our Krishna is very, he doesn't like, he's very possessive. He doesn't like any competition. That's why he says, Sarva Dharmavan Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam. You just have to take only shelter of me. But if that is the case, then Rupa Goswami says, what about Draupadi? That means she is also not a pure devotee. Because when she was being betrayed, she was crying for Krishna. That means, apart from constantly thinking of Krishna, she had some other desire, and that's what she was calling out for Krishna to protect her, because she was being disturbed. Okay, when we say because that's a very crucial stage, so there is no harm, then what to talk about Akshaya? When she was being gifted as Akshaya, and finally Durvasa knew, saying that there's 10,000 disciples, and they all have taken Prashadam, and there was nothing now to feed them. And Akshapatra hold that quality that if Draupadi has eaten, after that, that Patra is not going to give any Prashadam. And that time also she called the Govinda, now you have to come and protect me. So at that time also, she has some other desire, right? And that's what she was calling out for Krishna. But Rupa Goswami says that we should have no other desire apart from constantly serving and worshipping and thinking of Krishna. We should have no other desire. If we have any other desire, that is not pure devotional service. So that means Draupadi is not a pure devotee. But to this, our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and of course our Rupa Goswami, he mentions the three instances in which if we call out for Krishna, still they should be considered as Krishna Bhakti, pure Krishna Bhakti. And Rupa Goswami Pad, and of course Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and of course, our dear Srila Prabhupada, he mentions in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in our Nectar of Devotion, these three things. The first is, in matters of self-preservation. So in matters of self-preservation, if we call out to Krishna, it is to be considered as pure bhakti. The next is of life-threatening situation. Of life-threatening situation, if we call out to Krishna, that is also on the level of pure bhakti. And the third is of sudden circumstances, he precise and mentioned this, of sudden circumstances like eating and evacuating. In that case also, if we remember Krishna, that is also on the level of pure bhakti. I'll repeat, these are the three things in matters of self-preservation, in life-threatening situations, and of course in the matter of sudden circumstances like eating and evacuating. If we call out to Krishna, that is considered to be on the level of pure devotee. It is still counted as Anya Abhilashita. For example, you see the boys, the cowherd boys, they were calling out to Krishna in the forest fire because not because they want to be protected, because they thought that if we will die or if something happened to us, then whom will Krishna play with? Right? So Krishna says, if not for me, then who you will go to? So therefore, in all these above mentioned circumstances, if we call out to the Krishna, they all are legitimate and they all fall under the category of pure devotional service. In this regard, I'll just, recite one beautiful verse, and it says, because we have to reach out only to Krishna. If we don't reach out to Krishna, then who else is our shelter? So it says, Shri Krishna Sharanam Samasta Jagatam Krishnam Veena Kagati Krishnena Pratihante Kalimalam Krishnaya Parayam Namaha Krishna Prasati Kala Bhima Bhujago Krishnasya Sarvam Vashe Krishna Bhakti Akhandita Bhavatume Bho Krishna Tam Eva Ashraya. What does it mean? Shri Krishna Sharanam Samasta Jagatam. Krishna, you are the only shelter of everything in this world that exists. Krishnam Veena Kagati. Without Krishna, who is our shelter? Krishnena Pratihanyate Kalimalam. It's only by Krishna's mercy that all ill effects of Kali are destroyed by hearing Krishna's pastimes. And that's why it says, Krishnaya Karyam Nama. Therefore, I go down to all the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna Pratyati Kala Bhima Bhujagau. Krishna destroys the serpent bite of death. Krishnasya Sarvam Vashe. Everything is under the control of Krishna. Krishna Bhakti Akhandita Bhavatune. May I have that undivided, unconditional love of Krishna. Bhau Krishna from Eva Ashraya. Therefore, O Krishna, I bow down and take shelter. It's a beautiful verse. When I heard this, actually, I heard this 15, 20 days back. And since then, I'm trying to memorize this verse, which I'm not able to. I was simply reading. But it's a beautiful verse. Right. So, coming on to the point of our definition. So, Krishna himself says, if not for me, then who will you go to? Therefore, in the matters of self-preservation and life-threatening situation and of sudden circumstances like eating and evacuating, if we call out for Krishna, that is Anya Abhilashita. That is the category of pure devotional service. Because Rupa Goswami part doesn't say Anya Abhilasha Shunya. He used the word Ita. Ita means the nature for what we are desiring. That's why he used Ita. That means there is some exceptions to it. That's what he mentioned. And now the word is Janma Karmadi Anavritam. Anavrita means to be covered. And Anavrita means to be not covered. So, Janma Karma Adi. So, this pure devotional service is not covered with any other things like Janma, Karma or Adi. We know about Jnana Karma Adi. I'm just saying that now, so sorry. It's Jnana Karma Adi. So we know about Jnana. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, when he was speaking 7 days continuously to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was giving all kinds of Jnana, right? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was silent. So he said, why are you silent? Either you have not understood anything or you have understood everything. So, to that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that both of your statements are true. Yes, whatever quotations that you are quoting, I have understood everything. But whatever translating or interpretations you are giving, I have not understood anything because they are not on the level of pure devotion. So pure devotional service is always bereft of any jnana or any karma. Also, we see, the example of karma, that how one of the associates, Mukunda, he was such a person that wherever he goes, he'll say, oh, when he goes to the assembly of Jnanis, he say, oh, yeah, and they say Jnana is, perfect, and there is Jnana Yoga is perfect too for the self-realization. He says, oh, yeah, you are true. And then we go to Karma Kandis and they say, no, only we can realize Krishna only through Karma Yoga. And he says, yeah, yeah, you are also true. And so, Mahaprabhu, when he came to know, he was really curious. What is Mukunda is doing? And, once Mukunda was having his prasadam, and then, it was full plate full of puri, sabji, dal, chaat, and, all kinds of sweets. And so beautifully being mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, sorry, in Chaitanya Bhagavat also, that, he was such relish, he wanted to relish all that. The plate was full of beautiful, delicious prasadam. And then just, Mahaprabhu, who just in a form of an email, he just came and he saw Mukunda, and then he saw that plate. And then he simply passed urine on the plate. And then Mukunda said, what did you do? What happened? Why did you pass urine on this plate? And then Mahaprabhu said, now you can relish the prasadam. He said, now? How can I eat it now? Because you just contaminated the gold prasadam. And then Mahaprabhu said, that's what you are also doing. You are mixing this Shuddha Bhakti, because this Shuddha Bhakti is like a prasadam, and you are mixing it with all kind of other parts with Jnana Kanda, and Karma Kanda. You are mixing it all those. Shuddha Bhakti is bereft of anything. It is on a level of pure devotional service. So how can it be palatable once, the Shuddha Bhakti cannot be palatable if you are mixing it with any Jnana or Karma. Just keep it separate. So just to teach this lesson to Mukunda, this pastime was depicted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we end up and we came to the final conclusion that what this pure, perfect definition that Rupa Goswami has, he mentions is that freedom from all these misconceptions, all these conceptions, free from all external desires and serving Krishna in a way that, that Krishna wants. And plus we also should have that desire to serve Krishna. And of course, we follow the footsteps of our great souls. This is the meaning of the 4 lines of pure devotional service that Rupa Goswami has quoted. So I stop here, and also because Shruti Vilasini Mataji, yesterday she posted that all the speakers they should speak at least for 5-10 minutes on the glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And though she exempted me with that because she said that we should start from March 1st, but I'll take up this opportunity because God Purnima is approaching, and I just want to take up this opportunity because the class, if it is not ending in the glorification of Chaitanya on the path, then it is not complete. So just for my own greed, I should say that I just want to say something in glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll not take much time. So, we all know that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he instructed Haridas and Nityananda Prabhu to go and preach. Sune suno Nityananda suno Haridas, amar ajya karo hi prakasha, prati ghare ghare giya karo e diksha, bolo Krishna bhajo Krishna, bolo Krishna Krishna. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Lavo Krishna Naam, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Pranadham. So that's what he instructed. And Nityananda Prabhu used to go door to door, begging at the, knocking at the door, begging them, please say Krishna, please worship Krishna, just say once the name of Krishna. That's what he was begging. And some people were slamming doors, they were whipping Nityananda Prabhu, they were closing their doors, they were kicking and whipping and doing all kind of nonsense, basically putting all kind of atrocities on Nityananda Prabhu. But he was being so selfless. Then Nitai realized, what he realized is, he said that Krishna Nam Kori Aparada Vichar. Because, first of all these people are not ready to say the name of Krishna. And secondly, even if they say, Krishna Nam has a lot of offenses. We have to really guard ourselves from various offenses when we say Krishna Nam. So he thought that Krishna Nam Kori Aparada Vichar. So Because we know Krishna deities, they consider offenses. Krishna name also consider offenses. When we chant the holy name, we have the whole list of offenses to be avoided. Right. And of course, to talk about Krishna's abode, Krishna's Vrindavan Dham, that also, consider offenses. But, our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what he says, Gaur Nam, Gaur Dham, Gaur Rupa Gaur, Aparade Nahi Mani Pare Te Nipun. So for us, Kalyuga rejects, he says, Gaurinam, Gaurinabha. The name of Gauranga, the abode, the Navadvip, in which Gauranga was appeared, and Gaurarupa, his form and gun and his qualities, Aparade Nahimane. None of them consider the offenses. And moreover, Tarite Nepun, they also liberate us. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So, so then he thought that okay, now these people cannot recite the name of Krishna because the moment, first of all, they're not saying, but even if they say, you have to guard against so many offenses. Though, Mahaprabhu instructed me to just, say, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna Shiksha, but still, I'll not preach the word Krishna. Because the fastest way to purify all these people, to come onto the platform so that they can recite Krishna name offenselessly, he made a wonderful plan. And then he tried to preach. Bhajo Gauranga, Kaho Gauranga, Lavo Gaurangera Naam Re, Je Jana Gauranga Bhaje, Shei Hoya Mare Pran Re. So Nityananda he made a foolproof plan and he started purifying people and telling them that just recite the name of Gauranga, Bhaja Gauranga, Kaho Gauranga, Lavo Gauranga Namani, and Jajan Gauranga Bhaji, person who chants the holy name, this name of Gauranga, say Hoi Amara Prana. That person will be my life and soul. Basically, I become slave of that person. And a person who becomes life and soul of Nityananda Prabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, has to accept him. So that's the magnanimous nature of both, these wonderful, I should say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Thank you so much for listening, and I was so purified, feeling so happy when I said something about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and my dear most Nityananda Prabhu. So thank you once again for tolerating me and listening to me. I'll end up here. Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Ki Jai, Rupa Goswami Path, Ki Jai, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ki Jai. If you have any questions, comments, please.
Hari Bol. I wish you hadn't stopped. It was so nice. It was so nice. It was so nice. Fantastic, Mataji. Really, the way you dissected that verse and you made it so clear. When we read the works of Jiva Goswami or Rupa Goswami, this is how they kind of, break the verse into parts, and then they give different meanings for each word, and then they explain the word, the meaning of each word, and then they explain the sentence together, and then they prove that the other meanings may not be applicable because of these reasons. So you did it just like that. It was so fantastic. It was like hearing, honestly, it's not for some kind of like I'm trying to glorify you. I mean, or rather, I'm just saying something without feeling, but really, honestly, from my heart, I just want to say, it was like hearing from one of the Goswamis. Seriously, it was something for me, Mataji. It was very, very nice.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, it was very.
Thank you so much for relaxing, Mataji. But all glories to Rupa Goswami Path and of course Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If they would have not explained that, we would have known that. All glories to them.
Fantastic. So I had questions, Mataji.
Yeah.
All the Lord Yeah, when we are in a situation of three situations you gave: self-preservation, life-threatening, sudden circumstances like eating and evacuation. I didn't understand that point at all. Can you please explain that?
Yes, Madhuri. So actually, I'll just give you an example. There was mm, one Prabhu. He was actually telling in his class. He was giving the class in Vrindavan, Krishna Balram temple, and he was telling that how he actually just drank some tap water from Radha King, and suddenly his stomach got upset, and you know when his stomach got upset, the diarrhea, loose motions, and all started. And then, he was in his dhoti, and he was basically on the cycle rickshaw in Vrindavan, going from Radhakan to his own ashram, the place he was staying. So he was going, and in between, he felt that Mother Nature is calling. And then he thought, oh, my place is still far away. I'm on cycle rickshaw. I'm in dhoti. Now what to do? And immediately he started chanting loudly, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And then he was entering the cycle rickshaw. That person, he was looking back and seeing what happened to this person. Why he is shouting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And then Prabhu was mentioning in the class that, the moment he said Krishna, the nature call disappeared, at least for that moment, till the time he reached his place. So that's what, he's saying that these are the sudden circumstances. I'll give you my life example. I was also not well, though it was not a diarrhea, but, I don't know what stomach upset or what happened. I have to go in the evening and dress the baby. Okay, so 5:45, I have to close the curtain. And 5 o'clock, normally I go and reach there because then, I have to take out all the paraphernalia. And I had no idea about, about this verse and about the current circumstances. But, there, as soon as it was 5:30, 35, I think, so it's only 10 minutes left. I had taken out everything. But suddenly I feel like that I have to go for a nature's cause. And if you have to go on the altar, so then, going for a pee is not to be good. You have to, after that, take shower. And there was no harm in taking shower, but the point is that I had no travel at that time because I was not prepared for such a circumstance. Now what to do? There is no one in the temple whom I can say, can you cover my service? And I was in an intense pain. What I did? I left everything in the study room, went straight up, and just sat for a minute in front of Srila Prabhupada and prayed intensely. Oh, Prabhupada, please help me. I am in nowhere situation. I can't see anyone in the temple who can cover my service because it's only 5 minutes left that I have to close the process. Now I just cannot take shower also. Please help me so that I can, do my service properly. Trust me, believe me. This instance of that Prabhu who was giving the class, at that time I haven't heard it. But I straight away went to Srila Prabhupada. And trust me, I had no need to call. And I dressed them nicely. And even after that, I was not feeling going to bathroom. I came home driving for 35 minutes at home. And then when I came home, then I used my restroom. So that is the sudden circumstances of eating like we gave the example of Draupadi. There were thousands of, brahmacharis, and of course with Durvasa, they were there at her door, and she had to make prasadam, but she has nothing to do. And so finally she called out the name of Govinda. So in all these circumstances, these are the sudden circumstances which are unavoidable. So in these circumstances, if we call out to Krishna, it is not that we are having some ulterior motive or ulterior desire. It is considered that yes, in pure bhakti only we are calling out the name of Krishna. Hope it helps.
Haribo. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Commodity Mataji. So Preeti will ask me, Mataji, are you there again? Am I?
Oh, sorry. I was talking. And I was muted. Sorry. Yeah. So, Mataji, thank you so much. That makes so much sense. And so the same thing applies during, the sudden, the cycles women have. Uh, Same situation as I.
Self-preservation? Yeah. What, Mataji?
So the same, the same thing can be applied to a situation when suddenly women go through their monthly cycles and they were not aware of it. I mean, I'm just extending the question. I don't know if it's applicable.
Um, I can't comment on that because, specifically Rupa Goswami says this word eating and evacuating. But, the monthlies of women are not something, which comes all of a sudden because it has a time frame.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
So, in that case, I just can't understand that what does it mean? Like, even if the monthlies are coming for what? If it's coming, it's coming, right? It's 3 days you have to be a woman. So even if you call out to Krishna, it's not that it's going to stop. Right? Because even like evacuation, it can stop for a moment or maybe, till the time the job is done. But after all, it will come. Right? So it can be temporarily be taken care of. But it's a naked call, right?
Yeah.
So monthlies are not something like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, this question, I don't know if it was even appropriate, but I was just extending the whole thing here. Yeah, I mean, I can understand what you're saying. And Mataji, about self-preservation. So for this, you give the example of Draupadi asking for the sari.
Yeah, when she was doing the throat.
Okay, so self-preservation means.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah.
So she didn't ask for the sari. She just wanted the protection from Krishna. Being in these robes. And Krishna provided that practical way for him. Then he just applied it on cloth and made the sari.
Yeah. So that is an example of self-preservation, right? No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So self-preservation, I mean, I'm just trying to understand the exact meaning. It's not really life preservation, rather it is preservation of certain things that is very important, in that situation.
Yeah. Like that is for yourself. Yeah. Life is something that comes to the next point, that is life-threatening situation.
Oh, yeah, I get it now. And now I understand these situations. Okay. And eating also you explain. Thank you, Mataji.
But when, there is no harm in praying, that when we pray for if somebody is sick in the family, people do say that, oh, I'll pray for you. So there is no harm in praying. But Rupa Goswami says that at that time, when we are praying, we should add up in our prayer, Krishna, if so you desire. So that sentence has to be added because we don't know what Krishna's plan is. But only in these three specific matters, even if we call out to Krishna, that is true devotion.
Yes, this is what the Prabhupada also said when he was sick. He was very ill, and then devotees asked him if we can pray for you, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, yes, you can pray, but also say Krishna if you desire.
Yeah.
Jai. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you both Matajis. Thank you Kirtida Mataji for beautiful answers, and thank you Kamadaki Mataji also for adding realizations.
Little that I heard. Hallelujah. Very nice. Very nice. This is Jai. Cannot say it. This is very nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Oh, yes, I agree that your explanation of this verse was really amazing. And I had exactly the same exact questions that Preeti Vilasini Mataji asked about, clarification for this self-preservation, life-threatening, and eating evacuation. So it's clear now. The one question that I still just want to confirm a little bit further is about self-preservation. So, like Rosny was saying that, um, you know, self-preservation is about having concern about something that is extremely important to you, even though getting that thing may not mean life or death, but it's like of that level of importance to you, like Draupadi's chastity.
Yes,
the,
yes. Like
so
Draupadi's
that's
chastity was, yeah, was at stake. So she called out the name of Krishna. So that is what self-preservation is.
yeah something very extremely important to you.
So,
Uh-huh.
yes,
Um, and your example of life threatening was the boys in the forest fire, because that actually.
yes,
But so even when we are in life threatening situation, um, even for those of us who don't have that level of purity and to want our life to be spared only for Krishna's sake, um, is it still legitimate to call up to Krishna to save our life, or is such calling out just less pure? I mean, we have nobody else can control whether we live or die. Only Krishna
yeah.
can.
So,
So,
so I'll read it from Rupa Goswami directly. He says, I'll just read it because I don't want to paraphrase it to make it more clear. Abhilasha means desire. Thus, Abhilashita literally means desiredness. This differentiates desire and desirement, where the former can be inclusive of the inevitable desires integral to material existence, and later exclusively this refers to desire for sense gratification. So inevitably, integral desires are the basic instincts which are for self-preservation, such as the drive to survive, to eat, or to evacuate. One can have these desires and still not be on the realm of pure devotional service, as long as, of course, they do not become the main motivational force in one's life. For example, suppose a devotee who has dedicated his full energy in advancement in devotion is suddenly put in a life-threatening situation. He may call out, Krishna, save me. This is not a desire for Krishna's pleasure. It is a personal desire for self-preservation. But it is an inevitable, integral part of existence. Such non-integral desires do not exclude one from pure devotional service. And the conclusion is that even there are extraneous desires, one's motive must be kept completely pure. One should desire only to please the Lord and thus execute pure devotional service. Got it? So this is what Rupa Goswami taught.
okay.
There is no harm, even though it is not for Krishna's pleasure. But at that time, even calling Krishna to protect us, that's what Rupa Goswami Pad says, is, it should not be excluded from pure devotion service. But the intention should be right. It should not fall under the category of sense gratification. Is it clear?
I think so. I might have to meditate on it a little bit, but I think so, because I'm also thinking, when he says that it must not fall under the category of sense gratification. I'm also thinking of again, I'm going back to Draupadi wanting
Hmm.
to keep her sorry. You know
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
I'm not sure that that falls under for Krishna's pleasure or for it seems
That's
like a
what
little
it
great.
doesn't fall. Yeah, it doesn't fall for Krishna's pleasure. When she was calling Krishna to protect her, and because she was being disrobed, that was, and she was calling Krishna, so that was not, she was not calling Krishna for his pleasure. Right? She was calling Krishna to protect her. But these are the three exceptions that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Rupa Goswami say. That's why
I
he
know,
mentioned that. He doesn't say. Go ahead.
but so it wasn't for Krishna's pleasure that she wanted to decide, but it doesn't seem like it should fall under the category of sense gratification either. That's why I'm
No,
saying
it
maybe
is
it's
not.
great.
No, yeah, it is not even sense gratification. Sense gratification is where you give pleasure to your senses, when you gratify your senses. She was not gratifying her senses. It was such a misfortune condition, situation for her. She begged
Mhm.
to everybody. She literally begged to everyone, but nobody heard her side of the story. Nobody was ready to speak a single word. And that situation, especially for a woman, is not, she was not an ordinary woman. She was the daughter-in-law of that Kuru dynasty. And she was not born also in an ordinary way. She was born from Agni. She was a really exalted devotee, an exalted person. But what to talk about her, even a woman in this world, if somebody is disrobed, that is such a misfortune condition, situation for a woman. So it is not for sense gratification. Sense gratification is, okay, I don't want to eat this, I want to eat only this. So because that is pleasing to my taste, to my tongue, that is what sense gratification is. But protecting ourselves in such a situation is not at all, doesn't fall under the category of sense gratification.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, just one last situation for you. Um,
Yeah.
we said self-preservation is involves like very intense sense of need for something. So
Yes.
I'm just wondering if I mean maybe I should think of an example, but if a person has a very intense need for something, he just like really feels like if he doesn't get that thing, um,
Okay.
it's
I'll
like
give you an
life for
example
him.
of it. I got it. I got you. I'll give you the example of this.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that is
What is
sense
it?
gratification. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Now, if we are calling out to Krishna to fulfill some of our needs, which may gratify us or gratify our senses, that doesn't fall under the category of self-preservation. Now, I'll give you an example. My guru, His Holiness Bhakti Saraswami Maharaj, he wrote a book, Ocean of Mercy. In that, he cited an example. Through that example, maybe it may be clear to you. So what he cited that one day Srila Prabhupada told him that go and buy. He gave a list because he was personally serving Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada, he gave a list of items and told Bhakti Thakur Maharaj to go and buy it from the market. So, there was some saag, some bangan, that eggplant and some
Mm-hmm.
karela that is the kebab, so on and so forth. He gave the whole list. And then Guru Maharaj went and, he bought everything and finally he came back. And then Prabhupada, when he came to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada asked him, so you were able to get everything? And then Guru Maharaj said, yes, Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada didn't leave at that time, but Prabhupada said, he checked the list. Okay, you got this, you got this, and to every time Guru Maharaj was saying, yes, Prabhupada. And finally Prabhupada said, so you got Karela too, because that was the only left item in that list. Karela means bitter gourd. So
Yes.
he said, so you got that too. And Guru Maharaj said yes, because he was in a way of saying yes to every, and he was so confident that he got everything. So he simply said yes. But just a moment after saying yes, he realized that he forgot Karela. He forgot to bring that bitter gourd. But he had no courage to speak in front of Srila Prabhupada that Prabhupada has forgot to bring. You know, immediately then Prabhupada said, okay, you may go now. And now he had inside that he has said a lie to Prabhupada, but it was not intentionally. Because, Prabhupada was checking and he was saying yes, 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 yes. And then even for Bittergard, when he said yes, immediately he realized that he has forgotten. So when he came out, he sent one of the brahmachari, go and get this Bittergard from the market as soon as possible. So, he went and, he said that there is no bitter gourd in the market. And now see the situation in which Guru Maharaj must have been. He told Prabhupada that yes, he has brought, and then he has forgotten to bring that Karela. On top of that, there is no Karela available in the market.
Oh my
And
God.
then immediately another person came up and he told Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Swami Maharaj, that Prabhupada is calling you in the kitchen with all those items because he
Oh
needs
my
to help.
God. Oh my
See the
God.
situation of Prabhupada.
Oh
How
my God.
far it is. And he mentioned that he was in Krishna Bhagavan temple at that time. And there is a tree and he was there and he just had to go to the kitchen. And he was praying intensely to Krishna. Krishna, what to do now? Because there is no bitter gourd available in the market. On top of that, I forgot. And on top of that, I told lie to Prabhupada that yes, I've got everything. He was praying intensely. And he just closed his eyes and he was praying intensely. And when he called out for Krishna, and he just thought that what to do now. And the moment he opened eyes, he saw one Karela falling down under that tree. One Karela. From where it came, how it came, he dropped it, he
Oh
doesn't
my
know
God.
anything. But there was one single bitter gourd which was there. He immediately took it, thanked Krishna, ran to the kitchen in front of Srila Prabhupada and told that yes, this is the whole thing. And that Guru Maharaj, he mentioned. So there, asking for Karela was not for satisfying himself. Neither he was asking Karela because he was afraid from the chastisement that he's going to get from Srila Prabhupada. But he was asking only and only to please Srila Prabhupada because he knew very well that Srila Prabhupada loves this See, that is what self-preservation is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes,
Clear?
yes. Yeah, yeah. I'm just curious, in that story, did you say that your Guru Maharaj did reveal to Srila Prabhupada the whole story, what happened? Or did he
I
did not?
didn't mention.
Oh.
I didn't mention anything about it.
Yeah, that was.
Definitely, but definitely he thanked Krishna. And